Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm just making this video here because we all heard the news yesterday of Carlos Tavares stepping down from the CEO position of Stellantis, which is awesome. I think that was something that desperately needed to be done, and I think he was running the company in a way that would have resulted in complete failure and termination of the brand as a whole. And he got a lot of praise for what he was doing in 22 and 23, and then 24 hit, and all that praise essentially came to bite him in the butt. He was really not running the company well from the get-go, and under FCA we saw some of the greatest products that were ever created for the Chrysler Corporation. This Jeep SRT, the Trackhawk, the Hellcat, everything was Hellcated essentially under the FCA era. And then Stellantis bought Dodge, and Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. They bought the company, and they basically ran it into the ground. They really did. They got rid of the Hemi in the Ram truck, and that's what people wanted. They got rid of the Hemi in basically everything. They killed off the Charger and Challenger, and 300, mind you, even though it was an old product, it was selling like hotcakes still. And they got rid of the Jeep SRT, which is what I'm in right now, my 2016 SRT with 5,300 miles. They got rid of that. They got rid of basically everything that us Mopar enthusiasts hold dear. And I feel like I can talk about this subject because I have a Jeep SRT. My parents have a Durango RT Tow and Go, a 21 Durango RT Tow and Go. I have a 300 SRT. I have a 78 Dodge Monaco, and I've got a Challenger SRT. So a Mopar runs in the family, it runs in the blood. And when you see a company lose its roots of what it is really frustrating. And that can't be said for Ford and for GM, because GM, while it is discontinuing the Camaro, it is still sticking to its roots, and it is still creating a Corvette. And you look at Ford, it's still sticking to its roots. It's still creating a Mustang, and Ford is still providing us with a V8, the Coyote V8 in its F-150, and GM is still providing us with its 6.2 liter V8 in its Silverado and its GMC and its large SUVs as well. So to see Stellantis basically kill the Hemi application in Ram is very, very, very frustrating. And that goes for the Wagoneer series as well, and the Grand Cherokee. You cannot get a Grand Cherokee anymore with a V8, and the Grand Cherokee L, I'm sure, is going to be discontinued with the V8 here very shortly, whenever the Durango is, which will be 2025. So it's very frustrating to me to see this company being run like absolute trash overseas. And guys, listen to me. I own a Chevy Volt as well. I'm all for the environment. I'm all for these plug-in hybrids. But to me, my one escape from that is the Mopar brand. And when you see it just totally shift, like a paradigm shift in a matter of a few years, it's a total failure on my part. And you see GM, you see Ford implement good strategies to electrification in their vehicles. They didn't go whole hog. They didn't just stop V8s and V6s, inline sixes cold turkey. They implemented electrification into their vehicle line so they could still have the fun enthusiast cars, which is all we want. We want one or two fun enthusiast cars in the lineup to buy, because let's be honest, nobody's going out and rushing to buy an electric Charger. No, nobody is. Nobody's buying the Hornet electrified vehicle because it's too small. And that's a whole nother subject, but Chrysler did such a bad, or I should say Stellantis now, did such a bad job at going with some sort of electrification. They chose and created the smallest car they could instead of providing us with an electrified product that is large enough to suit our needs. And yes, the Jeep Grand Cherokee is electrified, which is great, and I'm actually looking at purchasing one right now. But in the Dodge lineup, they should have did something that was, you know, maybe a little bit of a bigger hit or something already established, like an electrified Charger, you know, instead of producing a product that, honestly, it's a good product. The interior is nice, but here's the problem. It has no more capability than my Chevy Volt does because it's so small. It's one of the smallest crossovers I have ever sat in. There's barely any room in the back. There's barely any room in the liftgate trunk area. And it's basically overpriced. It's so overpriced. Why would you pay that much money for a vehicle? An electrified vehicle that's starting out at around $45,000 that can be fitted all the way past $50,000. That's a lot of money to spend on a vehicle, guys, at base MSRP. So I think we're going to see some changes in the company now, but here's the thing, and I've seen a lot of YouTubers saying that the V8 might be back. Whether it's clickbait or not, I'm not sure. But the direction the company is gone, we're not going to see any V8
message from Trisha Falston
back. We're just not going to see any V8 back. And Stellantis has invested so many billions of dollars now into electrification. They're not just going to turn their backs on that and throw Hemis into everything. We may see it now in the future. I could definitely see that, but we're not going to see it in the short-term future. It's going to be a long-term future thing. It's not going to be short-term. And that's where everybody is all excited about Tavares being fired, which I am too. But the problem is we're not going to see a Hemi return. It costs billions of dollars for vehicles to be made. So we're not going to see any of that anytime soon because they've already invested billions of dollars into these new vehicles that we're not going to see a Hemi put in there anytime soon. So I know I just repeated myself there, but you have to get that through your brain. It's not going to happen. And my Jeep is currently telling me I'm getting a lot of text messages, so clearly I'm a busy man right now. But anyway, we're not going to see any Hemis anytime soon. Yes, Tavares resigning is awesome. It's an awesome thing that happened to a company that has a lot of history, and now we need something to save it. I don't know what it's going to be, but we need these American brands, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, to be saved, essentially. Hopefully the next CEO, whether it's a CFO type of person or some sort of engineer, which I highly doubt it's going to be an engineer, it's probably a financially sound person, a CFO, maybe within the company. Hopefully they can, fix the issues with the Chrysler brand as a whole right now. It's really sad to see the direction of the company and these automobiles, the local automobiles here made, the American brands, not even made in America anymore, but the American brands here. And I'm just not impressed with the direction they are going. So hopefully we can see some sort of directional change here in the near future with the brand and get some sort of promises as to what is going to happen. Tavares ran the company into the ground. He was a terrible CEO of a historic brand. And I honestly, as a business owner of my own brand, I can't believe that he was allowed to stay in that position for as long as he was, because he was so out of touch with the American market, as a lot of these automobile brands are now. They're so out of touch with the American market. And we want big, fast, and huge vehicles. That's what we want. If you can't provide us with that, especially for the Dodge or Jeep or Chrysler or Ram brand, then why even why even compete in the American market? There's already enough other automobile brands out there that produce small vehicles. So why even compete? Because you can't. You've never been good at it. And why even try to do it now? So they need to get back to their roots, and Tavares being gone is great. So I'm hoping that, you know, the brand can be revived and turned into something of what it was in the 2010 era of vehicle, where it was just kicking ass and taking names. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.